Good.
Good. Okay. I see Alina is here, and Sona and Oksana. Who's Oksana? Is she there? Okay. So you're supposed to watch a movie, which was adventurous type of movie. I would ask Alina about your impression. What do you think about this movie? Did you like it?
Yes, it is one of my favorite movies. So yesterday was the third time I watched it.
Okay.
Yes, I like it. It's very funny, interesting.
What part of the movie did you like the most?
All of them.
All of the parts. Okay.
Yes.
What can you tell me about the concept of the movie?
Like four friends decided, not on purpose, but decided to play a game called Джуманджи, and they are transported to another world called Jumanji, and then they play this game as they try to survive and find that jewel, and then shout Jumanji, and that's the end of the game.
Okay, all right, thank you. Sona, what about you? Did you like the movie?
Yes, I like it. I watch it a lot of time. A lot.
And what genre is this movie?
About adventure, friends.
About it's an adventurous type of movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it action? This movie, is it action?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Now I'm going to share my screen with you, but let me make sure. Here. Screen share. Okay. Do you have my screen now here?
Yes.
Okay. Very well. So now, today we are going to talk about the Survivor's Club. It's about how can you survive some extreme situations or, I don't know, some incidents. Okay, so now I'm going to ask each of you this question and tell me about your option. Which option do you choose, okay? Alina, how do you think you would react in a life or death emergency situation? You'd panic and become like hysterical. You'd freeze and wouldn't be able to do anything, and you'd act coolly and calmly.
I think at first I will freeze, but then I will act calmly.
Calmly, yes. Okay. What about you, Sona?
I think first I was panic, and then I'd act.
Okay. Okay, next question. If you caught a plane tomorrow and the flight attendant began giving the safety information, would you listen but not take it very seriously, carry on reading your book or magazine, pay attention, and also read the safety information in the seat pocket?
I read book.
You read book? Okay, you don't pay attention to, right?
I think so.
Okay, what about you, Alina?
I think I would listen, but not take it very seriously.
Okay.
I think.
All right. So what would you do if you were hiking alone in a mountain and you got completely lost without phone and coverage? It means you can't call anywhere without phone coverage. So you'd stay where you were and wait to be rescued, or you'd keep walking and try to find your way to your destination, or you try to find your way back to where you had started from.
It's a difficult question.
Yeah, it is really. It is.
I think I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. I definitely don't choose the first option because it's
Waste of time.
Yes, it's waste of time, and probably I would try to find a way out. Try to find my way. Yes.
All right. Very good. What about you, Sona?
I think if I know in the start way I have phone coverage, I go back way back. If I know I haven't, I find another way.
You find somewhere, or you try to change your spot so that your phone is covered and you can call somewhere. Okay, very good. All right, number 4. What would you do if you woke up in the middle of the night and thought that you could hear an intruder in your home? Do you know what does intruder mean? A person who tries to get inside your house without your permission is intruder. If you would do something different, say what? You'd confront the intruder, you'd keep still and quiet and hope that the intruder would go away, and you'd lock yourself in a room. You'd lock yourself in a room and call the police.
I'd lock myself in a room. Because
what about you, Sona? Sorry, you
No, Sonia, go on.
Okay.
It depends where is this strange person. If he's far, I can close my room. If he's on my back.
No, it's not. It's not at your back. You have the chance to go and lock yourself.
Yes, then I lock him.
Okay. All right. Very well. So, you were saying something, Alina.
Yes, I thought, when somebody try to intrude in your house, it's quite scary, and you can't react very fast, even if it's night. So I think the best way is to lock yourself in the room.
Okay. I see Dasha is here.
Yes, that's right. Hi.
Yeah, hi, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I ask you, please, whenever you enter, please let me know, because sometimes I don't check the participants afterward.
Okay.
I miss some of you.
I'm here.
Sure, thank you so much. So what's your answer to the last question?
If you woke up in the middle of the night, 1 second until you could hear. Oh, I think I'd keep still and quiet and hope that India would go away. Yeah, I just try to hide somewhere, maybe under the bed,
okay.
and to keep quiet, and hope and pray.
Okay, I see. All right, okay. So now we are having an article here about the lesson, like how to eat an elephant. Let's read this. Let's see what is it about. It's about how you can survive extreme situations or environments. Okay, Elena, please read the first paragraph, and then we'll go to other people. They will read the rest of it. Okay? At least.
First paragraph, it's till number 5. Yes? Or till the end of the... I see.
Till way out.
Okay. At least 80% of us react in the same way to a life or death crisis or emergency. We are simply overwhelmed. The challenge seems too great.
Okay. Sorry. What does overwhelmed mean?
I don't know.
Okay. Diana, are you here? I see you. Okay. So overwhelmed means when you're stressed out and nervous or shocked, you are overwhelmed. Okay.
Seems too great. The problem insolvable. Yes, insolvable.
You can't solve that. It's insolvable.
in Air Force survival schools, they try to teach you how to overcome this feeling. One of the things they ask new candidates,
I guess.
No, it's like in the army they called cadets, but
yes,
cadets.
Yes.
But I don't know how to pronounce it. Is how would you eat an elephant? And they make them memorize the right answer, which is you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Survival means dealing with a huge life or death problem, one which you may not be able to solve quickly or all at once. The key to survival is to slow down and divide the challenges into small, manageable tasks, one goal at a time, one decision at a time. When an
avalanche.
Avalanche? What does it mean, avalanche?
Okay, imagine the situation in the mountain. There are a lot of snows during the winter. So, and someone make a loud noise. What happened?
Snows fall from the mountain.
From the mountain and will cover everywhere and may kill a lot of people, right? So this is called avalanche, the act of motion of those huge amount of snows which are coming down of the mountain. You got it, right?
Yeah.
How do you call it in your language?
Lavina, I guess.
Okay.
Yes. When an avalanche, avalanche, buried the survivors of a plane crash in the Andes, the survivors whispered to each other, breathe, breathe again. With every breath, you are alive.
Excuse me, sorry. So if you remember, I told you we have two types of verbs. What happened? We have two types of verb. One of them is a breath. No, not verb. I mean, two different pronunciation. One of them is breath is the noun and breathe is the verb. So here, breathe, it is the verb. But if it was the noun, like here, every breath, this one is not breathe, is breath. With every breath, you are alive. Okay, so there is a difference in between these pronunciations, these two words, in fact. Okay.
I made a mistake in pronunciation.
Did you say breath? I didn't know.
I guess I said yes.
Okay, very good then.
Yeah. In a hopeless situation without oxygen or light, this approach kept them going until they found a way out.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Sona, please. This. Are you there, Sona? No, okay. Dasha, please.
Okay, so this and much more is what survival expert Ben Sherwood tells us in his best-selling book, The Survivors.
Yeah, it's like Survivors Club.
Survivors Club, which brings together stories of real-life survivors from all kinds of disasters. He begins by explaining the 10-80-10 principle. Okay, when he faced with an emergency, 80% of people freeze. They are stunned and turned into the statues, or are so
bewildered.
Okay, bewildered.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Yes, sure. A stunned. First of all, let's start with a stunned. What does stunned mean?
They are stunned, like frozen. They were frozen, like can't move. Yeah. No?
No, not like frozen. It's like shocked, more like shocked. And when you're bewildered, you're confused. You don't know what to do. Like, I'm confused. I'm bewildered with this situation. It means I'm really confused with that. Or you are amazed, or you don't know what to do. Yeah.
Okay. But what is happening around them that they can't react? 10% lose control. These people scream and cry and often make the situation worse, but 10% keep calm and behave in a rational way.
Rational way. What does rational mean?
Usual way?
No.
Normal way?
Like they understand what they do. They try to think clear and...
But do you know any synonym for it?
Logical.
Logical. Good job.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Logical. Rational means in a logical way. Very good. So Sona is here. I didn't get it.
Yes, I have connect problem. I take my sister's phone.
All right. Okay. I see her here. Okay.
So they don't panic and they assess the situation clearly and take these decisions. These people have the best chance of survival in a crisis and
crisis.
Crisis. And Sharkwood explains how you can try to become more like them.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Do you know what does assess mean? Assessing. They assess.
That don't panic and assess the situation. They solved the situation. They understood the situation. Yeah.
Any other synonym? Maybe.
Solve the problem.
It's like how you react to this situation. This is the way you assess it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
He also reminds us that apart from staying calm and not despairing, knowing the right thing to do in a crisis is also vital.
Vital. Okay. So first of all, crisis, then disappearing. Okay.
Okay.
Disappearing, and vital means very important. Very important.
And that in most emergencies, many more people survive than don't. For example, most people think that you can't survive a plane crash, but American research has shown that the survival rate in all air crashes is hysterically 95 and 7%.
Yeah, we say 95.7%.
Okay, 0.7%. Shavut not only tries to show us how to behave rationally and calmly, he also gives us the information we need to join this
Survivors Club. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Survivors
All right,
Club.
I have a question from you. Can I say here, he also gives us the information we need to join the survival club.
No.
Why?
Because information isn't countable.
Isn't countable? In fact, there is no plural form for information. So information either for singular or for single or for plural form, we both use them without s. Okay, very good.
To survive in different situations, dangerous situations, and can find the way out.
Okay, very good. All right. Sona, what's the key to survive? I'm sorry. What is the key to surviving in a life or death crisis?
Keep calm.
Keeping calm. Okay. What
Keeping
else?
calm.
Or to keep calm.
And think how to solve this problem.
All right, Dasha. So, what is the 10-80-10 principle?
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
It's okay. What's the point of this article by saying how to eat an elephant?
He says that you should 1 second. You should think about the problem, but divide it into the small pieces. And the principle. Oh yeah, it begins by explaining the. How to explain it? You should stay calm and don't panic. And 1 second.
So the
Don't
principle,
panic, yeah. The principle is don't panic and try to solve the problem, but cut it into pieces or divide it into pieces and solve one part of this problem one by one.
At a time, yeah. Very good. Okay, so 10, 80, 10 was saying 80% of people will be bewildered or are stunned when they face a crisis. 10% will keep calm and will react in a rational way. I don't know what happens with the rest of them.
They lose control. There is one sentence about.
Okay. The others are dead.
Okay.
All right. Very good. So, Elena, what is the other important factor apart from keeping calm?
Don't panic. But it's the same, actually. Don't panic and keeping calm.
It was mentioned here.
Yes.
Knowing the right thing to do in a crisis is also vital. Yeah. So, yeah, you can keep calm, but while you're calm, you may die calm.
Yes.
But it's important to know how to react to the situation. It's very important as well. Okay, very good. Thank you. So now I want to ask you some of these words. You have to connect them with their definition, which actually have been highlighted here in this text. So the first word was overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means unable to react because the emotion is too strong, so you're overwhelmed with that. So shocked that you can't think clearly or act. It's an adjective.
Stunned.
Okay, very confused.
It was
bewildered.
Bewildered. Yes, exactly. New or difficult thing that tests your abilities. Challenge. Yes, challenge. Okay, based on reason and not emotion. Rational. Yes, rational. Very good. Okay, to succeed in dealing with or controlling a problem. Succeed in dealing with or controlling a problem. To not get excited or nervous, to not panic.
Keep calm.
Keep calm. All right.
Calm.
All right. And pieces of work that it is possible to deal with or control.
Manageable tasks.
Yes, manageable tasks. Okay, very good. Now we are going to work in groups. Okay, I'll be with Sona. Elena and Dasha are together. Okay. So first we will go to page 106 and then we'll see what to do. Okay. All right, let's see how it goes. Page 106. It's an emergency. So now Sona and I, we are student A. We're going to read the survival tips and underline things that you should or shouldn't do and why. Try to remember the information. Then you will try to, Dasha and Elena, you'll try to ask us questions about what you should do in these emergency situations, okay? However, we are going to read them all together, but it's important that how you will ask question and how we will answer. I'll not answer anything. Sona, is up to you. So what to do if there is an emergency on a plane? So your plane is very unlikely to crash, but if it does, the most important thing is to be ready for it. 80% of all accidents take place during takeoff or landing. And if there is an emergency, such as a fire, you will probably only have about 90 seconds to get off. So when you get on the plane and when it starts to descend, what does it mean to descend?
Descend, take off? No.
Uh-huh.
Take off, is it?
when you get on its plane, it either ascends or descends. So descending is going down, ascending is going up. Okay.
Oh.
You need to be thinking about what you would do. Pay attention to the safety card and the flight attendant safety briefing. So attendant safety briefing. Could you read please rest of it, Sona? Memorize.
Memorize where the emergency exits are and count how many rows you are away from them. Don't do what many people do, which is to relax. Take off their shoes and start reading or listen to music. If something does happen, you need to be ready to take action. In fact, this is one of the reasons why people are told of switch of electronic device during takeoff and landing. Above all, don't go to sleep. But once the plane is flying and the seat belt signs have gone off, you can start to relax and enjoy the flight.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Now, Alina, Dasha, please ask us a question about how you can survive in an emergency situation on a plane.
Okay, what should we do before we take off?
Sona?
We should listen instruction
To the instruction.
to the instruction.
Okay. Alina?
When can you start to relax and enjoy the flight?
When stop explain the information how to save.
Maybe after the takeoff and after landing, you can relax. Okay.
Okay.
If there is an emergency situation, how much time do you have to react?
90 seconds.
Yay. Okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Now it's your turn. So page. Here. So what to do if you get lost on a hike in the mountain? Please, Alina, Dasha, manage it somehow.
Alina, can you start?
Dasha, can I start? Or?
Yeah. You
okay. Okay. According to experts, people who get lost when they are out hiking typically keep walking or even running desperately, trying to find the right path or to safety, but this is absolutely the wrong thing to do. As a survival expert says, fear is the enemy. Lost people want to run. They lose their heads and start to panic. Sometimes they even forget to look in their backpacks for food and water. The number one survival tip is to stay where you are or find an open space nearby and wait to be rescued, especially if you have told someone where you were going to walk. In research done in Canada, only 2 out of 800 lost people actually did this. If the others had stayed in one place, they would have been found much sooner.
Okay. Look for a sheltered place nearby in case you have to spend the night there, for example under a rock, or make a shelter with tree branches to keep you warm. But make sure you stay in the open during the day so that you can be seen by a helicopter. Make a fire to attract attention. If you don't have matches, tea or piece of bright clothing to stick and leave it in a visible place.
Okay.
What does it mean if you don't have matches?
Where is it?
It's a speech key?
Yeah.
Where is it? Sorry, I don't find it.
It's the last sentence. Matches.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I know another meaning of the word match, like the verb. Yes. That's why I was asking.
Do you know what does sheltered mean?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a handmade home.
Yeah, it's somewhere that keep you protected from bad weather. Okay. All right, very good. And yeah, is there any other word you didn't understand, or everything clear?
No, everything is clear.
Okay, very good. So, Sona, ask him question.
What should we do first of all if we lost on a hike in the mountains?
Lina.
Okay. Okay. At first, we need to stay and don't move anywhere, and that will be easier to find, easier to someone to find us.
So
How
it's
much
better.
people actually do this tip? Did this
Dasha?
Okay, sorry, one more again. What should people actually do?
how much people
How many people?
how many people actually did this tip?
Okay. Use this tip, yeah.
Yes.
1 second, I need to find it. Only out of out of the 800 people actually did this.
Two people out of 800.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2 people. Okay, out. Oh, yes, 2 because we have 2 in the word, so that's why I didn't notice it.
Okay.
2 of 800, yeah, actually did this.
So what would you do yourself in such situations? Will you stay there, or you will walk desperately to find a place for yourself?
Actually, the first time I answered this question at the beginning of our speaking club, I said that I will find the way out. But now I see that it is better to stay and wait for somebody to find you. Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. Let's go back, and I don't know. It was 45. Yeah. All right, good. So we're here. Okay, now we are going to listen to something interesting. It's very close to what you have watched in that movie. So it's about 3 men, or maybe more, four young men going to jungle on the adventure of lifetime, and a lot of things happen to each of them. So imagine, I'm asking Elena, imagine you were going to go backpacking in the Amazon rainforest. What do you think would be the main problems you would need to overcome? The heat, insects, or the food?
I think the main problem I would need to overcome will be insects and rain, because I know that in Amazon forest there is raining very often. So
it's raining.
I think it's the main problem.
I see. Okay. What about Sona? What do you think about the same question?
I agree with Elena, and I worry about food.
Okay, I see. All right, Dasha, what would you be most afraid of?
Spiders.
Spiders. What about snakes?
No, I have a phobia of spiders. Just that's why spiders.
Well, I'm really scared of snakes. I hate them.
Oh, I'm too. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I have phobia.
And yes, in the Amazon forest, the snakes just fall down from the trees, and it's really.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of movies. So.
Do we have a snake here in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're small and kind.
Are they
really kind?
No.
But I don't know. We have poison snakes here in Ukraine.
Yes, we have
really?
venomous. Yes.
Yeah,
venomous. Venomous snakes and this hadyuka. Yes. So
I forgot about them.
And where are they? Like, where can we find
the forest?
Usually, yes, in the forest and near the river or lake.
Oh, okay.
For example, now in Uzhhorod, it's in Western Ukraine, near the river, there is like, I don't know, several kuplo, I don't know this word, like the group of snakes. Yes, and they are just, it's really, I saw pictures, and I think I will not go there near the river.
This is scary.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So now let's read this story. This one is hopefully shorter than the previous one, and partially we will listen to some part. So I'll read the beginning for you, and then make yourself ready for the rest of it. So lost in the jungle. Okay, lost in the jungle. All right, 4 young men went into the jungle on the adventure of a lifetime. Only 2 of them would come out alive. The Amazon rainforest is roughly the size of Europe or Australia. What does it mean, roughly?
Like bigger?
Yeah, like means pretty the same. Yeah, it's like that. It's the home of more than half the plant and animal species known to man. Many of which are lethal. What does lethal mean?
Death.
It means mortal. They kill you. They can kill you.
Poison, like, yeah. Or
It can be poison. They can
dangerous.
eat you. Yeah, it's very like lethal means mortal. They kill you. All right. So in 1981, 3 friends went backpacking in a remote area of Bolivia. Yossi Ginsberg, 22, and his 2 friends, Kevin Walsey, 29, and Marcus Stam, 29. They hired an experienced guide. What does it mean, hired an experienced guide?
Oh,
You
it's
know
a
the word hired.
person, yeah. They had a deal with a person who can help them to travel.
Show you the way.
To show the way, yeah.
Yeah. And Austrian called Carl, who promised that he could take him deep into the rainforest to an undiscovered Indian village. Then they would raft nearly 200 kilometers back down the river. Carl said that the journey to the village would take him about 7 days. Before they entered the jungle, the 3 friends made a promise that they would go in together and come out together. All right. So this is like, I guess here. All right, please, Elena.
The 4 men set off from the town of Apollo, and soon they had left civilization for behind. But after walking for more than a week, there was no sign of the village, and tensions began to appear in the group. The 3 friends started to suspect that Carl, the guy, didn't really know where the Indian village was. Yossi and Kevin began to get fed up with their friend Marcus. Because he was complaining about everything, especially his feet, which had become infected and were hurting.
Hurting. So here, I told you heart is what you have in your body. Heart. Hurts is the pain. Okay, very good. Now, some cool words here. All right, civilization. What does it mean?
Yes, we have the same word in Ukrainian.
Yeah, all right, very good. And
the place with internet.
Fed up? What about fed up?
I don't know.
Means you are tired of it. When you get fed up, you're tired of that thing, okay? For example, before quarantine, we were all having good and cool kind of public transport, like metro, everything. And we were like, I'm really fed up with this metro thing because it's always populated. But now that we are paying to Uber every time, we are appreciating the metro, and even though it was really crowded. Okay, very good. Dasha, eventually?
Eventually they decided to
abandon.
What
does it mean?
The search for the village. Abandon. The search. Abandon.
It means to leave something behind.
Oh, okay.
To leave it.
To
Not live, not L-I-V, but
I
leave.
understand. It's like left. Yes, a second.
Left. Yes.
Yeah, to
good.
leave. They decided to abandon. I forgot how to read it. Abandon. Okay, abandon the research for the village and just to hike back to Apollo instead of rafting the way they had come. But Kevin was furious because he thought that it was Marcus' fault that they had to cut short their adventure. So he decided that he would raft down the river, and he
persuaded. What does it mean?
Forced?
No, not forcing. And do you know any synonym for it?
Persuaded.
Do you know the word? No.
No.
Do you know the word convincing?
Oh, you said something.
To convince someone. Okay, so for example, I want to sell my phone to you. I tell you that it's $300. You say no, it's expensive. I say no, it's a cool price for this phone. It's very high tech. It just came out last year and it's very good with this price for this price. Then I persuade you. Say okay, it's fine. I'll pay $300. Okay, because you say your phone is cool. So I persuaded you. I didn't force you. I gave reason. So you said that okay, this is rational. This is logical. So I'll buy this one. This is persuading. Okay.
Yeah. And he persuaded George C. to join him. Oh, sorry, Yossi to join him, but he didn't want Marcus to come with them. Marcus and Carl decided to go back to Apollo on foot. The three friends agreed to meet in a hotel in the capital La Paz in a week's time.
All right, and Sona?
Early the next morning, the two pairs of travelers said goodbye and set off on their different journeys.
What does it mean, set off?
Сдались.
Set off on their different
journeys.
Like begin?
Yes, means a starting. Yes. But starting a journey, specifically for journey and traveling, we say setting off. Okay, so let's listen to what happened actually in this thing. But before happening, let's answer some of these questions here. What was the three friends' original plan? How did this change?
They wanted to find the civilization in the Amazon.
Was it their primary goal, or it was not their primary goal? How it started, in fact?
They hired an experienced guide to help them to find the village, Indian village, and they wanted to go there on foot, and come back down river.
Okay.
So it was the start.
All right. Okay. And what caused tensions between the three men and the guide?
Tensions between
them. Maybe when that Marcus was something happened with his health.
With his food.
With his
okay.
Food.
Yes, but that was between Kevin and Marcus. But what about the guide?
Oh, guide didn't. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, you wanted to say. A guide didn't know the exact place, location of the village.
Yes, exactly. Although he claimed that I know, but he didn't know. In fact, I mean, they thought. Okay, why did they finally separate? Maybe Sona.
Because someone decided to go back civilization.
Yes.
And others don't agree with them.
They didn't agree, and they wanted to follow the river. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, which pair would you have chosen to go with? It's a question from all of you. And why? Would you stay with the one who is going the way back, or the one?
Why would I go to this island? Not the Amazon, Indian village.
Okay. So you would follow the river, or?
No, I follow the civilization.
All right. What about you, Alina?
Actually, I remember this story. It's a real true story, and I've seen a movie about this Yossi with Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay, don't.
No,
then
I don't spoil the reaction, but actually, I don't
You
want
can
to.
spoil me.
No, I don't want to go Amazon rainforest at all. So,
I see. But which of them do you choose?
which of them? I guess I don't know. I'll try to find this village probably, but I'm not sure.
So you follow the river?
Yes.
Okay. Dasha, what about you?
I think I'd like to follow the first plan to back down the river with two other men.
Okay. Let's listen to this and see what happens. It's 4, 5.
Oh my God, I understand what happened.
Okay. Upper. And it was 6, 3, 6. Okay. Do you listen it like clearly or no?
No.
No.
we
Okay.
don't. We don't hear it all.
I see. Okay. Okay.
3.6.
What about now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yossi and Kevin soon realized that going by river was a big mistake. The river got faster and faster, and soon they were in rapids. The raft was swept down the river at an incredible speed until it hit a rock. Both men were thrown into the water. Kevin was a strong swimmer, and he managed to swim to land. But Yossi was swept away by the rapids. But Yossi didn't drown. He was carried several kilometers downriver by the rapids, but he eventually managed to swim to the riverbank. He was totally exhausted. By an incredible piece of luck, he found their backpack floating in the river. The backpack contained a little food, insect repellent, a lighter, and, most important of all, the map. But the two friends were now separated by a canyon and 6 or 7 kilometers of jungle.
Okay. So, first question from Alina. What happened to Kevin and Yossi on the raft?
The stream was too strong, and they just fall down to the water. And Kevin was good swimmer, and he could swim to the how to say it?
Land.
Yes, to the land. But Yossi was moved along the river for several kilometers, and then he could find this land and then find the backpack.
I see. Okay, very
Food
good.
and map.
Okay, Dasha, do you think that this decision was a good decision to go going with?
No, now I understand it wasn't a good decision.
No, it's too soon. It's too early for this. I mean, according to this part of the story, sure, it wasn't. Okay. What about you, Sona? The question is, what piece of luck did Yossi have?
They found backstage with food and map.
Okay. So in here, which situation or whose situation would you rather have been in, Kevin's or Yossi's?
I'd like to see land and civilization and
without food.
not go in jungle.
Okay, what about you others?
I think Yossi's situation is better because he found food and this map, and it's it's more useful than just.
Okay. Yes. What about you, Adasha?
I agree with Alina. Was it?
Alina.
Yeah. Again, sorry, Alina. I need to write it.
It's okay.
I agree with Alina. I think it's more important to have a lighter he had in his backpack and the map and something that can help you to reach the civilization.
Okay. Yep. My screen is. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Let's listen to the next part. Let's see how it goes. Why? It was 7.
3.7. Kevin was feeling desperate. He didn't know if Yossi was alive or dead, but he started walking downriver to look for him. He felt responsible for what had happened to his friend because he had persuaded him to go with him on the river.
Yossi! Yossi!
Yossi, however, was feeling quite optimistic. He was sure that Kevin would look for him, so he started walking upriver, calling his friend's name.
Kevin! Kevin! Kevin!
But nobody answered. At night, Yossi tried to sleep, but he felt terrified. The jungle was full of noises. Suddenly, he woke up because he heard a branch breaking. He turned on his flashlight. There was a jaguar staring at him. Yossi was trembling with fear. But then he remembered something that he had once seen in a film. He used a cigarette lighter to set fire to the insect repellent spray. And he managed to scare the jaguar away.
Okay, very good. How was Kevin and Yossi feeling, Alina?
Kevin was upset because he promised Yossi to be with him, to follow and to find the way out. But Yossi was happy because, not happy, he was calm because he knows that Kevin will find him and everything will be all right.
Okay. Very good. Sona, what happened to Yossi on his first night alone in the jungle?
He met, I don't remember how to name this jaguar. Jaguar, yes.
Very good. And how was he feeling? Was he it was mentioned he was trembling. What does it mean, trembling?
Shaking?
Shaking like a leaf.
Yeah. Okay. And the last question, what would you have done if you had been in Yossi's situation? By the way, what conditional do we have here?
What would you have? It's the second? Oh, no, just
third,
maybe.
Third, yes, it's third. It's unreal. If it was second, it means you were in that situation somehow. So all right, good. So what would you have done if you had been in Yossi's situation? It's a question from all of you.
It's the same. He has done because he remembered about the advice someone gave him before this traveling, and he used a branch. Oh no, he used a cigarette lighter or cigarettes.
Mhm.
What was it? Cigarette something.
Lighter, yes, a lighter.
Yeah, it was cigarette lighter and scared the jaguar.
Mhm.
And that's the most.
He didn't use the lighter itself because that's like a candle for a jaguar. But he used something else for that.
Spray.
Yeah,
for
a spray with it,
insects.
with the spraying the cigarette lighter. In fact.
Okay.
Okay. Good. What else?
I agree with Dasha. I think I would do the same, but yes, cats, or even these big cats. Yes, I think it's probably the only possible way out of the situation.
Okay. All right. All right. What about you, Sona? Do you agree with that?
I agree, but I'm afraid I was freeze and don't think so fast.
All right. Yeah. Maybe you become. How do we say the adjective when you're confused?
Bewildered.
You become bewildered. Okay. Very good. Now let's listen to the next part. Are you tired of it?
No, it's interesting.
Okay.
3.8. After 5 days alone, Yossi was exhausted and starving. Suddenly, as he was walking, he saw a footprint on the trail. It was a hiking boot. It had to be Kevin's footprint.
Kevin!
He followed the trail until he discovered another footprint, and then another. But suddenly, he realized that the footprints weren't Kevin's footprints. They were his own. He had been walking around in a circle. At that moment, Yossi realized that he would never find Kevin. In fact, he felt sure that Kevin must be dead. He felt totally depressed and on the point of giving up.
Okay. So why did Yossi's spirit change from desperate to optimistic and then to desperate again?
Because he found a foot screen.
Prints.
Footprints. Yeah, footprints.
Footprints. Yes.
Okay, good. And Alina, how would you have felt at this point? What do you think had happened to Kevin?
About when he found these footprints. At first he was very happy because he thought it's Kevin's footprints, but then
I mean, how you would have felt.
How would I react to this? I think first I will check whether it is my footprints or not.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, very good. And what about, I mean, what if your shoes are the same? Okay. Yeah.
If the shoes will be the same?
I guess it was. So,
probably.
Okay, what about you, Dasha? What do you think had happened to Kevin?
Kevin, he's alive. He's somewhere there. I hope. Just the only way is just hope.
Okay.
For the happy ending. Yeah.
All right, we see. Let's listen to the next part.
3.9. But Kevin wasn't dead. He was still looking for Yossi. But after nearly a week, he was also weak and exhausted from lack of food and lack of sleep. He decided that it was time to forget Yossi and try to save himself. He had just enough strength left to hold onto a log and let himself float down the river. Kevin was incredibly lucky. He was rescued by 2 Bolivian hunters who were travelling downriver in a canoe. The men only hunted in that part of the rainforest once a year, so if they had passed by a short time earlier or later, they wouldn't have seen Kevin. They took him back to the town of San Jose, where he spent 2 days recovering.
Okay, so what had Kevin been doing all this time, Dasha?
Oh, he was looking for his friend.
And
But then he decided to stop and to just, as I understood, he just, 1 second. I don't know how to say it. He just moved through the river or something like moved with the river down. And then,
along the river?
Along the river on something. And then hunters found him.
Okay.
Saved him. Yeah.
Alina, why was he incredibly lucky?
Because these hunters find him and saved his life and helped him to survive and not to die.
Okay. And Sona, if you had been Kevin, what would you have done now?
I behaved like Kevin.
Okay. All right. We are close to the end of this long story. Let's see.
3.10.
As soon as Kevin felt well enough, he went to a Bolivian army base and asked them to look for Yossi.
Mi amigo está
My friend
perdido
is lost in the
en la
jungle.
selva. Deben buscarle.
You must look for him.
The army officer he spoke to was sure that Yossi must be dead. But in the end, Kevin persuaded them to take him up in a plane and fly over the part of the rainforest where Yossi might be.
Synonym for persuade?
Persuade.
No one knows the translation, but the synonym.
Persuade was about my phone. I wanted to sell you my phone.
Oh, убеждать.
And I told you
Yes.
that this is good, buy it. The synonym was convincing. Okay? So he persuaded the army to go and look for Yossi.
But the plane had to fly too high over the rainforest, and the forest was too dense. They couldn't see anything at all.
The
It
forest
was
was too dense. It means like this. All of these trees
Full of
are
trees.
blocking everything in there.
a hopeless search. Kevin felt terribly guilty. He was convinced that it was all his fault that Yossi was going to die in the jungle. Kevin's last hope was to pay a local man with a boat to take him up the river to look for his friend.
Okay, so how did Kevin first try to get help, Sona?
He tried explain he lost his friend in jungle.
To the army base, okay.
Yes.
And how they were feeling? Were they hopeful and optimistic about the situation, or they were pessimistic about it? Did you tell him?
In the beginning, he was optimistic.
Kevin was optimistic. Okay. What did the army told him about his friend in the beginning?
He died.
He's dead. Okay.
He's dead, yes.
All right, very good. Thank you. Elena, why was it unsuccessful?
Because they try to find him by plane, and these huge trees just blocked the view, and they couldn't see anything.
Anything, yes. Dasha, what was his last attempt to find his friend? What does attempt mean, by the way?
Try. His last attempt was to pay the man with the boat to help him to find his friend, and that's all.
Okay. So let's see what happens in the end.
.11.
By now, Yossi had been on his own in the jungle for nearly 3 weeks. He hadn't eaten for days. He was starving, exhausted, and slowly losing his mind. It was evening. He lay down by the side of the river, ready for another night alone in the jungle. Suddenly, he heard the sound of a bee buzzing in his ear. He thought a bee had got inside his mosquito net. But when he opened his eyes, he saw that the buzzing noise wasn't a bee. It was a boat. Yossi was too weak to shout. But Kevin had already seen him.
Yossi! Yossi! Yossi!
It was a 1 in a million chance that Kevin would find his friend, but he did. Yossi was saved. When Yossi had recovered, he and Kevin flew to the city of La Paz, and they went directly to the hotel where they had agreed to meet Marcus and Carl. But Marcus and Carl were not at the hotel. The two men had never arrived back in the town of Apollo. The Bolivian army organized a search of the rainforest, but Marcus and Carl were never seen again.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I see. Okay, good. So, how long had Yossi been on his own in the jungle? And how was it? How was he? How was he? I'm asking Dasha.
Okay, 3 weeks. And yeah, and he was losing his mind because he was lonely person in the forest. And so that's why he was exhausted, and he wanted to eat something. He was hungry, and he wasn't.
How do we call it? How do we call it when you're very hungry, nearly dying?
Starving.
Starving, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Starving. Okay.
Yes.
Starving. All right.
Starving.
Good. All right. And Elena, what did he think the buzzing noise was, and what was it?
He thought that it was like insects, yes. But then he realized that it was a boat. But he was he was exhausted and he couldn't shout. But Kevin have already seen him, and he saved his life.
Okay. All right. Very good. Sona, what do you think might have happened to Marcus and Carl?
I'm afraid they're dead.
They are dead. Okay. So do you think you would have survived if you had been in Yossi's situation? It's a question from all of you. And would you have done anything differently?
No.
No. Yeah, okay.
I think I wouldn't survive. I just, I think.
I wouldn't survive. No.
Oh.
It's not second. It's third.
I will not survive in such kind. Oh, sorry.
I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have to survive. No, I wouldn't have survived.
Very good. Yes, I wouldn't have survived.
I wouldn't have survived in such kind of situation because girls can't survive in such kind of situation.
Why? Maybe you can. Why not? Yeah. Okay. No, because these boys are slim. You see, these are not very strong. So yeah, why not?
But I think
Okay.
we are more emotional, and it will be more difficult for us to
Concentrate.
yeah.
And to react quickly.
No, but I guess you can because you read this article, How to Eat an Elephant. Okay.
So now,
Yes, now I know.
Okay. Yeah, very
I
good.
think you don't risk how this guy risk, and don't go jungle.
To
jungle.
the Amazon.
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. So now let's talk about some unreal conditionals. Now look at four sentences and complete the gaps with the verbs in the right tense. So number one, Elena, what would you do if you?
What would you do if you had been in the mountains?
No.
If you were? If you were, no?
If you were
in the
mountain and
you got lost.
Is it what conditional is that?
Second.
Next, Dasha, if I thought that.
Somebody was in my house. Okay, I would call the police and wouldn't confront the intruder. Intruder. It's a person who came into my house.
And not police, but police.
Police. Oh, okay.
Police.
Yeah, and I forgot. I wanted to tell you something. Okay, it's fine. Number 3, Sona.
What would you have done if you have done? It's if you were in your society.
What would you have done?
If you would have been.
No. This is third conditional.
If you
Third conditional.
Had been.
Had been in Yossi's situation. So this one is third conditional. Okay. Last one, Elena.
If Kevin hadn't looked for his friend, Yossi had died.
No.
Would maybe.
Would
have died.
Okay. So now look at sentences 1 to 4, which two refer to hypothetical situation in the past, and which two refer to hypothetical situation in the present or future. Hypothetical mean unreal.
In the past. It's the first one in the past. If you, what would you do if you?
That one is second conditional. So it's present or future. Number one is present or future. Then what else?
It's
second
past.
Also is present and future. So 3 and 4 are past because they are third conditional. Okay, let's review these conditionals a little bit. Page 141. So unreal conditionals. Now here you see second conditional sentence is if plus past simple plus would, wouldn't, and then plus infinitive. Like if there was a fire in the hotel, it would be very difficult to escape. I wouldn't have a car if I didn't live in the country. If you weren't making so much noise, I could concentrate better. Now, if I were you, I would make Jimmy wear a helmet when he's cycling. Now, the thing here is, all of these are connected with present or future. Now, we use second conditional sentences to talk about a hypothetical or imaginary situation in the present or future and its consequences. Consequences mean results. Okay, so consequence generally means result. All right, and sometimes you can use past simple like could, Here you see. And yeah, I mean, instead of would, you can say could. That's it. All right, now here. And yeah. So third conditional sentence is if plus past perfect, would, wouldn't have, past participle. Like here, if you had come to class more often, you would have done better in the exam. I wouldn't have been late if I hadn't overslept. Means I slept too much. He would have died if he hadn't been wearing a helmet. Now, if the jacket had been a bit cheaper, I might have bought it. Now, the thing here is that might is working like would. So you can, instead of would, sometimes you can use might, okay? But we use third conditional sentence to talk about a hypothetical past situation and its results. You can also use past perfect continuous in the if clause. You can also use could have or might have instead of would have in the other clause, okay? All right, so second or third conditional here. If you came to class more often, you would probably pass the exam. If you had come to class more often, you would probably have passed the exam. What's the difference in between these two sentences here, these two examples?
He didn't pass the exam now, the first sentence. And the second sentence, he didn't pass the exam.
Well, in the first example, we don't know yet. The result of exam is not shown yet. But what the teacher is saying, it means if you want to pass the exam, you gotta come to class more often. Any other way than that, I will not pass you, because it's about future. If you come to class more often, you would probably pass the exam. So there is not passing occurring yet. So there is no exam yet, but we are saying like if you want to pass, you have to attend the classes more often. But in the second example, if you had come to class more often, you would probably have passed the exam. This is like when you are failed, you are already failed, and your teacher is saying, if you came more, you would have passed the exam, okay? So in the first, you don't come to class enough, you need to come more often if you want to pass the exam. But in the second, you didn't come to class enough, so you failed. All right, so this is the very clear difference in between second conditional and third conditional, okay? Now we have, I don't want to confuse you with that, let that go. So let's talk about these exercises here. First exercise, please, Alina.
I so much food if you told me you weren't hungry. I didn't make.
No.
It's so difficult.
No, it's not difficult. All right, so I'll help you. Okay. Here you have the if clause. If you had told me you weren't hungry. In which of them do we have past perfect? Third or second?
Past perfect in third.
Third. So you have here if you had told me. So here should be?
I had made.
We have one.
I had. I hadn't made.
Look at this one, which I marked for you, highlighted for you. You have to copy the same thing there. I wouldn't have been late if I hadn't overslept.
I see. I wouldn't have made so much food if you had told me you weren't hungry.
Yes, exactly. Now this is third. Yeah. Why do we use it? Because he has already made the dinner, made the food, in fact, not the dinner, we don't know. Well, he has already made the food, so it's past. There is nothing can change now in present or future. Okay, very good, thank you. All right, Dasha, next.
Так, if I were you, I wouldn't lend money to members of your family. Yeah.
I wouldn't lend. Yes, correct. This is second conditional. So the very easy way, if you don't want to think logically, if you want to memorize, the easy way is that look at the tense. If you have past perfect, this is probably, I don't say 100% because we have mixed conditional, but this is probably third conditional. If you have past simple, then this is probably second conditional, okay? All right, number 3.
I would ask Jack to help me if he wasn't so busy.
Very good. It's which conditional?
Second.
Yes, okay. Number 4, please.
Joe,
Elena?
Joe, an accident if he hadn't been driving so fast. Joe wouldn't have had.
Very good.
So, I'd run, yeah.
So wouldn't have had.
Wouldn't have. Okay, I'd run the marathon if I would been a bit fitter.
No.
No? Oh, 1 second. Так, I'd run. It's about the third. Yeah, the third conditional.
Maybe second. Well, how do you know?
I don't know. Just. I would. It could be I would. Yeah. Okay, so I would run the marathon if I were. If I was a bit fitter. Now I understand. Yeah. It's about future.
So don't get tricked with this D thing here because it might be both of them. Look at the verb as well. So yeah, some cases you can't. For example, cut. How you can guess it? No. In some cases you can. All right, and also the meaning of the sentence. This is not something about past. It's something about present. So that's why we have to use second. Okay. Number 6, Sona.
If you were going, you wouldn't have fallen over.
You said
if you, it's third condition.
Okay.
If you had looked where you were going, you wouldn't have fallen over.
Very good. Okay, 7, Alina.
I'm sure you dancing if you came to the class with me. I'm sure you would dance.
No, you have to use the verb enjoy.
You would enjoy dancing if you come to the class with me.
Yeah, if you came. Okay.
Okay.
All right, 8, please.
Okay, I would go to the local restaurant if
we would.
Oh, sorry. We would. Okay. We would go to the local restaurant if they. Okay. If they. Past simple. We need to use past simple here, yeah? If they changed the menu from time to time.
Okay. All right. It. All right. You have to make it negative, in fact.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. We would go to the local restaurant if they didn't change the menu. Yes. Yeah, because they are changing it to time, they don't like to go there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, number 9, please. I mean, your answer was correct grammatically, but I mean, okay.
Nina wouldn't have gone abroad if she had been able to find a job here.
Very good. Yes. Number 10, Alina.
If you, for a discount in the shop, they might have given you one. If you had asked for a discount in the shop, they might have given you one.
If you had asked, yes, correct. Very good. All right, very good. It's third conditional. All right. So here, this exercise is for you. You can take a screenshot or whatever you want. If you want to have this one, I'll leave it for you here for some seconds. Okay. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll talk a little bit about mixed conditional, but I don't want to make it's a little bit confusing. I understand you, but what can we do? So mixed conditional, we sometimes mix second and third conditional if a hypothetical situation in the past has a present or future consequences. Consequence, in fact. You wouldn't be so tired if you had gone to bed earlier last night. So you wouldn't be so tired if you had gone. So this is past perfect. This is would plus verb, infinitive. This is mixed conditional. First part is second, then second part is third conditional. If he really loved you, he would have asked you to marry him. Now, the thing which you have to care about is that one part of these sentences is really imaginary, but the other part is partially true. Okay? We are saying if he really loved you, he would have asked you to marry him. So it means that he didn't ask you, in fact. He didn't ask you. But if he really loved you, both of them are imaginary, but one of them is having some consequences to the present time. Okay? All right, very good. So, do you have any question from any part?
No.
No? Sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I confused.
Right, forget about mixed conditional. Forget about mixed
Forget about
conditional.
it. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I lose hope.
No,
I can understand.
No, you were doing, you actually did great. Well, but why mixed conditional is good? Because even if you make a mistake, still you are making a conditional sentence. So you are making a mixed conditional. Even if you make mistake, it's again correct to some sort. So it's not a mistake, in fact, since you are going with the rules, okay? But since you are not, familiar with this mixed conditional structure yet, and it's a little bit hard for you, try to stick to the rules of third and second conditional, and later on we'll try to practice that a little bit more. Okay. All right, very good. So no question, right?
Yeah.
Yes. One question I have. Can you give answers the back exercise, because I'd like to.
Exercise B.
Yes.
All right. Next time, when you have done that, we will check it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We will check it together. Just remind me about it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Any other question?
No.
No. Okay. Very good. Then have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for listening.
Bye. Take care. Bye.